It's the weirdest thing when it comes to early Viking Age iron swords, because they had steel in them, and we even see that in the Iron Age, even 2,000 years ago and before that even, in Scandinavia, of the same quality steel as in the Roman Empire at the same time. And do you know what makes an iron sword into a steel sword? Well, it's carbon. And here's the kicker. No, actually, first the theory. There are some noun and sound scholars here in Norway who have pointed out that in our great many burial mounds, where there are urns, you say urns? I think so, ashes from cremations inside, we don't find the normal amount that you should when you cremate an adult person, which would be about a pound or maybe 2 kilos, a bit more maybe. You only find 200-300 grams, which is a fraction. Where do you find, or where have the other ash gone? And the theory is, well, they used it in their swords to create steel swords. And this was before the late or middle Viking Age, when they got steel from Central Asia in the cities of Merv and Samarkand. So you would take your grandmother's ashes, or a chieftain, and you would put it into the sword when smelting it or melting it, and it would turn out to be 3-4 times stronger than the iron sword. Imagine that, huh? So here's the kicker. The names for iron are in almost all European and Middle East languages more than 4,000 years old. In Egypt, we have the oldest iron dagger, which is about 4,500 years old, from the Old Empire, Old Kingdom, I think it's called. And it's not terrestrial, it's extraterrestrial, it's from meteor. And that's why all the names in Sumerian and Jewish languages and all the other Semitic language groups, and also in Indo-European it is believed, like iron or yarn in Norwegian, and in Sanskrit and Persian, has something to do with divinity from the sky, because it's metal from the gods coming down to earth. And that name has been kept throughout the Bronze Age until they started putting together how to make iron up here in the great valleys in the north, for example, or in the mountains in Austria, the Roman Empire, in Norco they did, or in the Ural Mountains, or the Carpathian or Caucasus, or even the Altai Mountains, where they first had advanced mythology, even close to 4,000 years ago. So imagine this, having a sacred name for the new metal from the gods, and then adding in some ashes from your relatives. You get what we call hieros gamos. You connect your ancestors to the gods in a union in this iron. I believe this is why so many Iron Age peoples in Scandinavia would sacrifice iron, swords, weapons, like we see in bogs in Denmark, when they won a large battle against Norwegians, it seems, close to 2,000 years ago. And they would take the weapons, they bend them and destroy them, and then sacrifice them into the bog, which is coincidentally the same place, many places at least, where they got the bog iron from. You get it in Norway and Sweden in the mountains, from the valleys, would be sent down in the Iron Age on the watersheds, and in the bottom of each watershed you had the rise of cities and power and chieftains who would become kings. But in Denmark you would have bogs in the wetlands, and you would need a lot of wood to actually create iron, and even more to create steel. But it's about the circle of life and how they saw this pantheistic view of life, which means they would sacrifice the iron to the bog, and they would get bog iron back from the bog, from the earth. And it's divinity, if you get my drift. This is why we have magic swords. We know the names of several magical divine swords that the Volund smith, Wayland smith from the north in Scandinavia, he created 3 swords that we know the names of for the emperor Charlemagne, the Frankish emperor in the Frankish Empire. So I'm trying to connect here the divinity from the gods with the nature and with our ancestors, and see it the way the Vikings did, at least before Christianity and for thousands of years back. Hope you like this.